Welcome to my channel. And tonight's scary story is called Crime and Punishment. Whoever said crime doesn't pay clearly never committed the perfect murder. Because what if one crime could haunt your soul? What if one crime could destroy you from within? Our story begins in the city of St. Petersburg, where we meet our protagonist, Raskolnikov. Now Raskolnikov is a poor student who's just trying to get by. But he's also a self-proclaimed intellectual who believes himself to be above the common man. And so when he sees an old pawnbroker who's rumored to have a lot of money, well, let's just say he sees an opportunity. Now Raskolnikov convinces himself that killing this old woman would be a good thing. After all, she's greedy, she's evil, and she's an usurer, basically a legal loan shark. So Raskolnikov reasons that killing her would actually be doing the world a favor. And so with that, he grabs an axe and he goes to her house and he does the deed. At first, he actually feels pretty good about himself. After all, he's just killed an old, evil woman, and now he can take all of her money and do whatever he wants. But soon after, he begins to feel guilty. And I don't mean like a little bit guilty, like full on. Can't stop thinking about it. Can't stop seeing it guilty. See, Raskolnikov's mind is playing tricks on him. Everywhere he goes, he's seeing eyes staring at him. Every sound he hears, he thinks is someone accusing him. And he's so tormented by this that he ends up confessing to a priest. But even after he confesses, the voices don't go away. And the reason for that is because Raskolnikov still has the money on him. The money that he took from the pawnbroker. And so in order to make the voices go away, he has to return the money. But when he does that, he's arrested for the murder. And now we know what you're thinking. What a stupid story. Of course, the voices go away when he returns the money. That makes total sense. But let me ask you this. Have you ever returned something that didn't belong to you? Have you ever returned something that was clearly yours, but you knew in your heart it wasn't? If you haven't, well, then you're probably not like Raskolnikov, who has so much guilt over stealing the pawnbroker's money that he turns himself into the police. After turning himself into the police, Raskolnikov is sentenced to 8 years in prison, hard labor. And as the story goes, he ends up dying in prison at the age of 32. Now, obviously, that's not the end of the story, or rather, it's the end of the story. But in order to understand it, we need to go back to the beginning. Because the real reason Raskolnikov murders the pawnbroker is not because he thinks he is above morality, or that he'd be doing the world a favor by killing her. No, the real reason is simply because he's poor and he needs money. But Raskolnikov can't come to terms with that fact. He can't admit to himself that he killed someone simply out of greed. And so instead, he comes up with this elaborate lie about how he is some kind of intellectual who is above the law. And he tries to convince himself and everyone else that that's why he did it. Now, this isn't exactly a happy ending, but it is an honest one. After all, Raskolnikov ends up confessing to his crime and accepting the punishment. But the real tragedy here is that he didn't have to make things worse by lying about his crime in the first place. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, and share. Also, if you want to hear more stories like this, then check out my podcast. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.